Caitlin Clark's golf debut just made me so upset with the WNBA.
Instant panic struck the WNBA after the LPGA celebrated Caitlin Clark in a way that showed more awareness than the WNBA. Let's be honest, the WNBA deserves an award for how they've overlooked a star like Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, the LPGA stepped up, spotted Clark's incredible talent, and used her star power to bring a fresh, youthful energy to women's sports.
Because the LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
That's what respecting talent looks like, but the WNBA doesn't seem to get it. Maybe they're scared of change, or they just don't know how to handle someone as special as Caitlin Clark, someone who could bring them the attention they desperately need. Instead, they keep messing up while the LPGA gains more fans and grows stronger. It's hard to watch almost.
You see her at this event, you see the kind of noise that this is making, you see that this is trending on social media, you see that SportsCenter, Bleacher Report, all of these places, every media outlet is covering this, and you don't say anything.
Where do we even begin with the WNBA's failure? The LPGA just gave a masterclass in smart marketing, and the WNBA should have been paying attention, but of course, they probably think they know better. The LPGA invited Caitlin Clark to an event, and it turned into a massive success. Fans flooded in, hype skyrocketed, and women's golf suddenly felt like the most exciting thing around. The LPGA didn't just test the waters, they dove right in, and it paid off big time. Meanwhile, the WNBA? They're too busy stuck in their own mess to figure it out.
Like, they did everything they could to sabotage their own league. And yeah, it backfired. For me anyway, I think it's hard to argue that it didn't completely backfire for them, because Caitlin Clark's more popular than ever.
The LPGA knew exactly what they were doing. They saw Caitlin Clark, a sports superstar, and said, "Yes, let's do this." The result? Thousands of new fans, young, diverse, and excited, showed up to see Clark in action. The energy was off the charts, like the place could have set off fire alarms. Women's golf got the boost it needed, and the LPGA looked brilliant for recognizing her star power. Even Nelly Korda called Clark a breath of fresh air, and she was right. It felt like a historic moment, a time when you could see the sport leveling up right before your eyes.
The LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world. And her name is Nelly Korda. So there are photos of Caitlin and Nelly literally everywhere.
And then there's the WNBA, pouting in the background like a jealous ex. Instead of seeing this as a chance to celebrate and uplift all women's sports, they got defensive, embarrassingly so. While the LPGA was throwing a celebration, the WNBA was that person sulking in the corner, mumbling, "What about me?" It seems like Caitlin Clark's success was too much for their fragile egos. Their reaction wasn't just disappointing, it was flat-out pathetic. Are they scared of progress? Do they really think staying stuck is a winning move? Because from here, it looks like they've mastered the art of missing the point.
But there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, "How can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it?" All of these things. And it ended up being put on television. And that was great. Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending.
The LPGA didn't just have Caitlin Clark show up and hit a few golf balls. They turned it into a full-blown event. Attendance records were smashed. Fan excitement was through the roof, and people lined up like she was a rock star on tour. And the best part? The LPGA kept the momentum going. They connected with these new fans, made the most of the moment, and gave a masterclass in how to promote women's sports today. Meanwhile, the WNBA? It's like they were asleep at the wheel, too wrapped up in their insecurities to notice the incredible opportunity right in front of them.
And the LPGA was so smart in doing this because they knew that there would be so many eyeballs on Caitlin. So if they put their #1 golfer, who is currently leading the sport and pushing the sport ahead, if they put her next to Caitlin for the entire event, that's just great. It's great for Nelly and it's great for everyone else.
Don't even get me started on the WNBA's excuse for ignoring Caitlin Clark. They actually claimed her popularity might overshadow stars like Aya Wilson and Brianna Stewart. Seriously? That's like a band refusing a superstar opening act because they're afraid it might steal the spotlight. Instead of welcoming Clark and realizing how she could boost the entire league, they chose the most petty and short-sighted option possible. How does a league that's supposed to empower women end up being this insecure?
I didn't hear one thing about there being too much spotlight on Caitlin Clark, and it should have maybe been on the professional golfers that are there. We didn't hear any of that. And those are the types of things that we have been hearing for the entirety of the WNBA season.
The LPGA understood Caitlin Clark's star power and made the most of it. They didn't just let her play a little golf, they turned her appearance into a massive event. Fans lined up like she was a global superstar, social media exploded, and the energy was unmatched. The LPGA saw her as a game changer, treated her like royalty, and reaped the rewards: record-breaking engagement, younger and more diverse fans, and a surge in visibility. Meanwhile, the WNBA? They acted like a jealous high school clique, too scared to share the spotlight. Their excuse? They didn't want Clark to overshadow established stars like Aya Wilson and Breanna Stewart. That's not strategy, it's insecurity. Instead of embracing Clark and using her popularity to elevate the league, they chose to downplay her success, refusing to celebrate or collaborate. It's like they were afraid her fame would somehow hurt them, which couldn't be further from the truth. The LPGA showed how to grow women's sports by welcoming new talent and working together to create something bigger. The WNBA, on the other hand, clung to an outdated mindset, missing a golden opportunity. Caitlin Clark isn't a threat. She's an asset, a player who could bring in fans, boost ticket sales, and inspire the next generation. The LPGA proved that collaboration and adaptability are the future of women's sports. The WNBA? They chose pride over progress, and it's painful to watch them fumble while others thrive. Women's sports are on the verge of something huge, but if the WNBA keeps holding back, they'll be left behind.